And so nines, let me just speak to you real quick and say you are incredibly important. You're incredibly unique and special, and you have giftings that really help pull our world together. That peacemaking ability that you have is really meant to do so much good in the world around you. So don't sell yourself short.
Don't sell yourself short.
Don't sell yourself short. You're amazing.
Give me a chance. Yeah, baby, try. Just one more night. Then make up your mind.
Hey guys, welcome to the Christian and Tiffany channel. Today we are talking about the Enneagram 9, the final number in the Enneagram series. Whoop, whoop, whoop. The Mediator, Peacemaker of the world. So today we're going to tell you what the childhood beliefs are of an Enneagram 9. What are some stereotypes, typically negative stereotypes of the 9? Strengths, weaknesses, and how to relate. If you don't know what your Enneagram number is, download our free Enneagram assessment tool. The link is down below.
That's a good plug right there. That was real smooth.
You're so interrupting right now.
I am. Go ahead.
Anyway, use our assessment to figure out what your number is. Not so you can answer the question, what's your number? I know my number now. It's 9. No. Figure out what your number is so that you can grow, so that you can become closer to your spouse or the people in your life by letting them know what your number is, learning what their numbers are. It's all about growth and really reaching your potential. So
tell us about the childhood beliefs of the 9.
Also subscribe and turn on notifications.
Wow, another good plug.
Just get it out there. All right. The childhood beliefs of the number 9 is that their opinions don't matter like everyone else's. They go along with others to be accepted. They grew up feeling unnoticed. Maybe they were a middle child. Maybe they were a child of working parents. Whatever the case, they just felt not special, unnoticed. They just kind of blended in. You know, if you ever have been in a room and you're like, oh, I had no idea you were here. Like that would be the 9. Like they just always feel invisible. Like they just kind of, anyway. They learn to accept that they just aren't special. So 4s feel like they're different than everybody else. That they're missing something or lacking something that everyone else has. But they feel special in themselves and they want to learn how to express it. 9s feel like they're different from everybody else, but they are not special. They were just born humdrum, run-of-the-mill. They'll never be anything but who they are. They just feel unimportant. The other thing about the 9 is that because they themselves don't feel special, they don't put their opinions out there or try and demand anything from others. They just find their circle of people and they want to keep everybody in their circle happy and content. Kind of similar to a 6, but they are willing to be confident and outspoken for the sake of others, to reunite others, to help resolve conflict with others, but they remain detached themselves. What are some stereotypes?
Oh, so good. So they can be
thanks.
pushovers or procrastinators. They can be referenced as kind of slow or lazy, kind of slothful, forgetful. They can be passive aggressive at times. And, I think sometimes they always think they're going to be a follower. When you think stereotypically of them, they're the follower, they're unproductive. And again, those are the kind of negative stereotypes of them. But let's talk about the strengths because that's way more cooler. I like it. It's way more cooler. That's it. We're going to go to strengths.
Way more cooler. Okay. So the strengths of the 9, they may feel invisible, but really they have so much ability to help unite the world around them, to bring peace, to help resolve conflict. They're really intuitive and can see and appreciate and empathize and relate to every single number on the Enneagram circle.
Oh, that's so good.
They can connect with every number and see their perspective. And because of that, they're really good at pulling people together, helping each other, helping other people see each other's perspectives in order to resolve conflict. This also makes it difficult for a 9 to really find their type and to know that they're a 9 because the 9 relates to an 8. Relates to a 4, relates to a 3, relates to a 1. They can really relate to and connect with any one of the numbers. And but that's just because that's their gift, that's their ability, is that they really are lovers of all people and bring all people together.
Which is great when they're healthy and they're in the healthy state of 9 being a leader. They can relate to everybody. They can connect. They can bring
easy
peace
to
and
follow
different ideas.
because they're not
and
aggressive.
Yeah, so it's so good. What are some of the weaknesses if those are the strengths?
All right.
We talked about being sloth a little bit.
You're just pushing me along. All right. Okay, so their main weaknesses are sloth and then rage or anger. So that sloth is just this, if they get overwhelmed, either because they feel that there's aggression or tension towards them, or if they feel overwhelmed because internally they're having a hard time making a choice and making a decision because they don't want to hurt someone's feeling or say no to someone or whatever, they will just do nothing. They'll procrastinate, they'll put it off, they won't volunteer because they don't know if they can really finish it or they don't feel qualified to do it. If there's a deadline, it becomes even more stressful, so they even procrastinate more. And so they struggle with overcoming overwhelming emotions in order to accomplish tasks. So whereas numbers like an 8, for example, they're challenged. They love the challenge of extreme tension. They want that adrenaline rush. And for a 9, they do not like that at all. They want to do things at their own pace, and typically they're not good self-starters. They really do need someone in their life that will help push them to get started and then to finish something. And so as a weakness then, if they're unhealthy and they're under a lot of stress, they can be extremely stubborn and just say no. Now, when they're an average 9, they're not going to say no because they want to keep everybody happy. Sure, they'll overcommit. I'll go to this party and this party and this party because they don't want to say no to anyone and hurt anybody's feelings or make anybody upset. And who are they to hurt somebody else, you know? And so then they'll get to this overwhelmed state and then they'll just say no to everybody, heels in the sand. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. They feel like they finally kind of get to this point where they feel used and misused and abused, and they just shut themselves off from their relationships. They emotionally and physically withdraw, and they push people away, sort of like punishment and harm, but really for self-preservation. They basically
let's talk about how to relate.
to survive. So again, that's the weaknesses. That's on the very unhealthy side. So how to relate.
How to relate. As Tiff was talking about, they get angry and withdraw when they feel pressure or forced and to making quick decisions. So with a 9, give them time and give them a deadline and they'll be able to make the decision. So maybe if you're going out to eat that night in the AM, you might say, hey, where do you want to go tonight? And, give them some time to get back with you and let you know where they want to go, so that they can make what they feel like is a good decision in that process, and you're working with them. They also really like verbal affirmation. So when you're talking to them or working with them, you want to give them that verbal affirmation. So if you're going to, do it correct, you want to do it like an Oreo, right? You want to give them some verbal affirmation, maybe give them a little bit of that cream and be like, hey, you might could do this a little bit better, and then follow up with a little bit of the Oreo and be like, but you're amazing. They really like that kind of approach of going through things. And then don't let them take the blame. Own up to your own faults. What did you mean exactly by that?
They'll be really quick to say, it's all my fault. No, don't worry, don't apologize. I should have done better myself, because they don't want other people to feel at odds with them, and so they'll take the blame.
They want to keep that
and
peace.
So it's really easy for a lot of people to take advantage of a 9 and just let them take the blame all the time for things that go wrong. But you really need to own up to your own part in any kind of conflict. And in that, you'll be affirming the 9 and that their opinions and that their honor is important, that their self, their person, their uniqueness is important and valued. So you really have to speak to them, and really value who they are. And I think for a lot of people, it's easy to be around a 9 because they are so easily swayed to your own opinion. But you really have to help a 9 find themselves, to be able to dig deep and understand who they really are and appreciate them and love them for that.
That's so good. Well, guys, we just want to say, Tiff already talked about downloading the assessment. So if you haven't already, download the assessment. It's a great tool. What are you going to get out of it? What's the Whiffin principle, right? What's in it for me, or what's in it for them to download the assessment. I think number one, you can begin to identify kind of some of the traits and healthier sides of who you are, and then also begin to understand your spouse, your friend, your partner, your coworkers, and it really helps you kind of integrate and understand them. Number two, leave us some comments below about what you'd like us to talk about next. We're wrapping up this Enneagram series, and we're going to dive into some other stuff, maybe kind of shotgun style, approach some different conversations
some
that we've...
Q&A videos.
Yeah, some of the stuff that we've wanted to do, maybe some Facebook Live, and then kind of work into our next full topic of what we want to do. But we would love to get your comments, whether it's anything you want to talk about, from business to parenting to whatever. We're down. We would love to have it. And then email us at info@christianandtiffany.com. So that's info@christianandtiffany.com.
There's one more thing that we didn't talk about that I want to touch on briefly, and then we will let you go. And that is the wings. We didn't talk about the wings.
Yes. So
That's
if you're
important.
a 9, you have a wing 1 or wing 2.
No, a wing 1 or a wing 8. So in doing the assessment, you'll figure out what your wings are. But just to give you a little glimpse, if your main number is 9, but you're a wing 1, meaning you lean more towards the different attributes and characteristics of a 1, you're going to be a more organized 9. You're going to get stuff done. You're actually going to be able to make some more decisions if they're easy, right and wrong, black and white kind of decisions. Emotional decisions, hurting people's feelings, there's still going to be a bit of a struggle, but there's some decisions that will be easy for that 9 to make because there's a good black and white inner critic that says this is right, this is wrong. So in general, they can be more confident, more decisive, but also a little bit more critical and more outspoken. If you're a 9 with a wing 8, meaning you take on some additional characteristics of the 8, you're going to be more assertive, a little bit more aggressive. You're kind of a walking contradiction, really, because the 9 in you wants you to hold in your rage and your energy and your feelings, and the 8 in you wants to express it. And so you might be a little bit up and down when it comes to how you relate to people. Sometimes you feel more extroverted, and some days you feel more introverted. It might be a little bit confusing. But you're more willing to confront people, especially when it comes to injustice. If you see somebody being wronged, you're much more willing to step up confidently and intercede on the other person's behalf.
That's
so those
so
are the
good.
wings. All right.
So close us out.
So you did all this
Second
stuff.
closing. Third.
Thank you for staying to the end to watch. We love you guys. If you haven't watched the other videos, go back and check out our playlist and make sure to take the assessment.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Bye.